I feel compelled to set down this account while my memory still permits it. We came to Antarctica as men of science, geologists, biologists, surveyors and scholars from Miskatonic University, believing the frozen continent to be little more than another frontier awaiting study and classification, beyond the limits of all reasonable geography.
Dyer, the formations we observed during the aerial passes are unlike anything I have encountered in 20 years of geological fieldwork. These mountains are not merely abnormal in height, though Atwood's calculations place several of the peaks well above 30,000 feet, but structurally inconsistent with any known tectonic activity in this region.
Then we proceed carefully, Lake. Extraordinary formations do not necessarily imply extraordinary conclusions. Antarctica remains one of the least understood regions on Earth.
Well, whatever caused those formations, it certainly wasn't ordinary erosion.
I intend to establish a temporary forward camp near the foothills. We'll conduct borings, seismic examinations, stratigraphic sampling, and controlled excavation. If there is a buried formation beneath that ice, volcanic, sedimentary, or otherwise, we may uncover evidence of an entirely unknown prehistoric ecosystem.
Very well, Lake. Provided we proceed methodically and without unnecessary risk. If these formations are as anomalous as you believe, then a controlled investigation is certainly warranted. But I want clear documentation of every sample, every survey, every excavation layer. We are scientists, not treasure hunters.
Keep at it, we need to go deeper.
Found something down here.
Hold the lantern steady.
Lake, come quick! We found something!
Impossible.
I repeat.
Good God, I don't believe it. Amazing! We've uncovered something extraordinary. Not merely fossils, preserved by illogical specimens unlike anything presently known to science. And that is not the most remarkable part.
Lake, slow down a moment. Preserved specimens? In what condition exactly? Mineralized remains are one thing, but intact biological structures in that environment would be highly irregular.
We have also recovered several carved stone tablets buried near the excavation. The markings upon them appear astronomical in nature. At first I believed them decorative, but the patterns correspond to identifiable stellar formations. They form a sequence, almost a directional chart.
A directional chart, you say? Leading where exactly?
Dyer, I believe these markings are indicating a route farther into the mountain range. I'm going to take the plane first thing in the morning to survey the area.
Very well, Lake. But I want that aircraft kept within reasonable range of the camp. And I expect scheduled wireless reports at regular intervals. Those mountains are still completely uncharted territory.
Will do. But if those tablets are indicating what I believe they are, then we may be standing at the threshold of the most significant paleontological discovery in human history.
If the weather begins to turn, you come back immediately. No discovery is worth risking your life over.
You have my word.
Transmission complete.
You and I will keep watch over the wireless in shifts. If Lake attempts contact, I want someone at that set immediately.
Certainly, Professor. I admit I'm quite curious to see what comes of all this. I've never seen Lake so animated before.
I must confess I am as well. But let's hope he doesn't do anything reckless.
Look what we've found, something extraordinary. Impossible geometry. Dear God.
Professor Lake, come in, Lake.
Lake, this is Cliff at the forward camp. Do you read? Over. Miskatonic Base, this is Cliff at the lake camp. Do you copy? Over.
Yes, this is Danforth at Miskatonic Base. Go ahead, Cliff. Over.
Danforth, this is Cliff at Lake's camp. Professor Lake took the aircraft out shortly after dawn, heading southwest over the mountains. He checked in around midday, but the signal was poor, mostly static. I could only make out fragments about extraordinary formations before the wireless went dead. He's missed 2 scheduled reports since then. Over.
Very well, Cliff. I'll speak with Dyer immediately. Keep the wireless open and report anything you hear. Over. Professor Dyer, we've lost contact with Lake. Cliff received a transmission from him around midday, but the signal was badly distorted.
It would appear my fears were not entirely unfounded. Lake has always possessed an unfortunate tendency to pursue discovery beyond the limits of caution, and those mountains are still wholly uncharted. We'll take the aircraft to Lake's camp at first light and investigate this ourselves. Until then, keep watch over the wireless. If there are any further transmissions, I want to know immediately.
Lake became obsessed with strange discoveries from the dig. He flew southwest through the mountains, searching for something deeper.
Look. It was buried so deep. It's perfectly intact.
Professor, what in heaven's name is that thing?
I've never seen anything like it. Good God, that cannot be natural. The symmetry, the structure of it. No known branch of terrestrial biology could produce such a creature, and yet it appears almost perfectly preserved.
The symbols on those tablets matched the constellations exactly. He flew southwest through the mountains.
Look at the size of it! Nobody on Earth should have been able to build something like that out here!
We'll circle back around and get a better look.
Look, it's Professor Lake's plane.
Professor Lake's plane is deserted.
Then we shall search that structure at once. If Professor Lake and his party came down here, there may still be traces of them inside. Bring the others, and keep your eyes open. We have no notion what sort of place this is.
Good God, what strange architecture. Observe those angles and recessions. The geometry appears wholly divorced from any known principle of human design. There is a kind of terrible symmetry to it, and yet one cannot properly follow it with the eye. I confess, Dyer, I have never beheld anything remotely resembling it.
Indeed. And I cannot escape the impression that the builders possessed some understanding of proportion and spatial relation, altogether beyond human comprehension. One feels less as though he is approaching a ruin, and more as though he is intruding upon the works of an utterly foreign intelligence.
Do you think Professor Lake is down there?
Perhaps. And if he's alive, he may be waiting for us below. If anyone wishes to remain here, speak now.
Well, I'm in. After coming all this way, this I gotta see. Professor Lake went down there, then so do we. God help us.
There's a damned unnatural smoothness to these stones. Weather alone could not have done that.
I'd give a great deal to know what purpose this immense shaft once served.
Keep close to the inner edge there. These steps are glazed with ice.
A funny thing. There's scarcely any drifted snow down here. Almost as though the place shelters itself.
Extraordinary. Look at these engravings. They do not appear merely decorative. Observe the sequence of figures and symbols. I believe the carvings are intended to convey a narrative of some kind, a historical record perhaps, preserved in stone.
Would you look at that? The same creature repeated panel after panel, almost like a royal emblem.
Keep your light steady on the carvings. I think I see a path down there. Be careful. The air is thick with something.
These aren't decorations. This is a record.
Am I losing my senses? Or did that damned engraving just change?
This chamber must have collapsed centuries ago, and yet the passage continues beneath it.
Judging from these carvings, the beings who inhabited this unimaginable city did not exist as a single race, but as a vast and varied civilization composed of many distinct forms of life. Though grotesque in appearance to the human eye, the engravings depict a society of remarkable organization and cooperation. Here we observe laborers gathering strange vegetation beneath artificial lights, while others transport materials through great vaulted corridors and monumental plazas. Winged creatures appear alongside smaller servant forms, each fulfilling specialized roles within an immense and ordered culture. Certain scenes suggest agriculture, others craftsmanship, construction, or perhaps even ritual activity. Most striking of all is the sheer complexity of the civilization itself. Towering structures, geometric machinery, and carefully planned communal spaces imply a people possessed not merely of survival instincts, but of science, industry, and social structure developed over spans of time impossible to estimate. The carvings repeat these patterns again and again. Workers, overseers, scholars, builders, all functioning together as part of a single interconnected society. Whatever these entities truly were, they were no mere beasts. They belonged to a civilization ancient beyond human reckoning and astonishingly advanced. Yet amidst this bewildering multitude of forms and castes, there appeared unmistakably a governing order, a hierarchy of intelligence and authority, to which all other creatures seemed bound in obedience. At the summit of that ancient structure stood beings whose likeness bore a most disturbing similarity to the strange organism recovered at Professor Lake's camp. Again and again the carvings returned to these entities. Their bodies were depicted as tall and tapering, encased in intricate ridged armor or skin of a vegetal and leathery aspect. Broad membranous wings folded from their sides, while numerous delicate limbs extended outward with extraordinary dexterity. Most singular of all were the clustered sensory organs projecting from the upper extremity, stalk-like appendages tipped with crimson nodules, arranged in a manner suggesting some wholly alien system of perception beyond any earthly anatomy. For the sake of convenience and lacking any proper designation by which their own civilization may have known them, I shall refer to these dominant beings as the Elder Things. The engravings leave little room for doubt that the Elder Things occupied the highest intellectual and administrative station within this prehistoric society. They were portrayed not merely as rulers, but as philosophers, engineers, naturalists, and masters of sciences whose achievements seem to have surpassed anything attainable by mankind. Entire cities appeared to rise according to their designs, while innumerable lesser species labored beneath their supervision in a civilization at once magnificent, alien, and terrifyingly ancient. The carvings suggested that the only force equal to the Elder Things' vast intellect was their boundless ambition. Their sciences advanced beyond all rational measure, and their dominion spread into realms of knowledge which mankind was perhaps never intended to approach. Yet there were unmistakable indications that this same relentless pursuit of mastery, this refusal to accept limitation, would in time contribute to the downfall of their ancient civilization. Yet even the vast multitude of subordinate species depicted throughout the carvings appeared insufficient for the ambitions of the Elder Things. Their cities expanded endlessly, their sciences grew ever more elaborate, and the demands of such a civilization soon exceeded the capabilities of ordinary labor. The murals then depicted the emergence of another class of being altogether, entities not evolved naturally, but engineered deliberately through the grotesque biological sciences of the elder things themselves. These creatures were shown as immense protoplasmic organisms of indefinite form, capable of reshaping their structure according to whatever task was required. In one sequence, they hauled enormous burdens. In another, they formed temporary organs, appendages, and tools suited to specialized labor. The carvings made plain that these entities were regarded not as citizens, but as biological instruments, created solely for toil, obedience, and burden beneath the vast machinery of the elder thing's ancient civilization. Beside these depictions, there occurred certain symbolic groupings which, after careful comparison and contextual study, I became convinced denoted the creature's designation. The nearest approximation I can render into human speech is Shoggoth, though such a pronunciation must necessarily remain imperfect, being derived from a language wholly alien to mankind. For a time, the carvings suggested that the elder things regarded their creation as an unquestionable success. The Shoggoths performed every labor demanded of them, adapting endlessly to the burdens imposed upon them by their masters. Entire cities appeared to rise upon their efforts. Yet in later sequences, there emerged unmistakable indications that something had changed within these protoplasmic servants. At first, the disturbances seemed isolated, minor acts of resistance, failures of obedience, irregularities in behavior previously unknown among the Shoggoths. But as the carvings progressed, the murals soon depicted scenes of open conflict. Vast chambers once devoted to labor and industry became sites of terrible struggle between the elder things and the monstrous beings they had fashioned to serve them. Curiously, several later carvings seem to indicate that the elder things had begun regaining control of the situation through means I could not fully interpret. One particularly vivid series of carvings depicted the elder things mounting what appeared to be a coordinated counteroffensive against the rebellious Shoggoths. Organized ranks of the beings were shown advancing through vast corridors, wielding curious rod-like instruments from which burst streams of flame and other energies impossible to identify with certainty. The accompanying scenes suggested that these weapons possessed devastating effectiveness against the protoplasmic creatures, whose amorphous bodies were repeatedly shown recoiling, collapsing, or retreating beneath the assault. And then, quite suddenly, the tone of the record changed. The final sequences of that particular age no longer depicted order being restored, but rather a civilization overtaken by catastrophe. Whatever victory the elder things believed themselves to have secured, it did not endure. Later carvings revealed that although the Shoggoths proved vulnerable when isolated and confronted individually, the murals suggested that they possessed a terrifying capacity for collective adaptation when gathered in sufficient numbers. In sequence after sequence, the creatures were shown merging together into vast conglomerate masses of living protoplasm. Immense composite organisms, of such scale that entire avenues and chambers of the city seemed to buckle beneath their passage. What had once been countless separate laboring entities became, in effect, singular monstrous intelligences of overwhelming magnitude and destructive power. The final scenes of the conflict bordered upon the incomprehensible. Towering structures collapsed beneath colossal undulating forms. Great processional halls became engulfed in chaos and ruin. Organized resistance among the elder things appeared increasingly desperate and fragmented. Their flame weapons and mechanical instruments, once sufficient to repel isolated Shoggoths, now seemed pitifully inadequate against the monstrous collective entities advancing through the heart of the city. Indeed, the murals strongly implied that it was this final transformation, the union of the Shoggoths into vast, coordinated masses, which ultimately shattered what remained of the elder thing's ancient civilization.
Great Scott! Professor Dyer, come here at once. You've got to see this. They're penguins. But God in heaven, not like any penguins I've ever seen.
Danforth, What have you stumbled onto now? Good lord. The penguins are albino. Every trace of pigment gone.
Then these penguins must have lived in darkness for generations beyond reckoning.
Its eyes have completely atrophied. Extraordinary. The penguins appear quite docile despite their appearance. Good God. The penguin nearly deafened me.
Never seen penguins like these before. They're pale as corpses.
Strangest penguins I've ever laid eyes on. They waddle about like fools, yet somehow there's something damned unsettling about them.
Good lord. Here are Lake's supplies. Their crates, instruments, everything. But where in heaven's name are the men themselves?
The supplies look like they've been completely ransacked and thrown about.
This doesn't make sense. Their supplies are here, their lanterns, their gear. So where in God's name are they?
It appears to be one of Lake's supply chests. Let us hope to God there is something inside that might explain what happened.
Very well, Danforth. Continue searching these supplies and see if you can uncover anything of use. I shall press farther ahead and examine the passage itself. Call out immediately if you discover anything unusual.
Wait, what have we here? A pair of glasses. Oh my God, those are Professor Lake's glasses. And that's his arm. What in heaven's name could have done this? What a strange creature.
Danforth, what have you found? Good God, that's his arm.
Poor Professor Lake.
Have you seen any sign of the others?
The tracks go that way.
Danforth, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I think these are the others' tracks. They continue in that direction.
Very well then. Let's gather the remaining men and prepare to investigate. If any of Lake's expedition still lives, they may be in desperate need of assistance.
Oh my God, what could have done this?
We have to find the others.
It appears the remainder of Lake's party proceeded further down that corridor. If any of them still live, we cannot abandon them. Everyone makes certain you carry something that may serve as a weapon. We do not yet know what transpired here, but we must be prepared to defend ourselves if necessary.
Oh my God! What is that?
It's the Shoggoth! Run! Move, damn you! Run, now!
Burn, you blasphemous thing! It's burning, but it's still coming.
Go, go, go! go. Just keep your eyes on the light. Go.
Keep running, Danforth!
Danforth! Keep moving!
Almost there! Get in! We're in! Close it! Go!
Cliff, do you read me? This is Dyer. Respond immediately.
Cliff, if you can hear this, you need to take the plane and get out of there right now! Something's happened out here. God, Lake and his entire team, they're all dead! Don't come looking for us. Stay away from the mountains. You have to get out of there now. Do you understand me? Take the plane and leave.
We escaped that cursed place, but Lake's camp had been completely destroyed. There were no survivors. The specimen was gone, vanished without a trace, and Danforth? God help him. Danforth was never the same after what we saw in those mountains.
It's not real! They're not watching! Not real! No.
We uncovered traces of a civilization older than mankind itself. What we found buried beneath the ice was not merely ancient, it was alien. And the deeper we pressed into those forgotten regions, the more certain I became that some things upon this earth were never meant to be disturbed. Even now, as I commit these events to paper, I cannot escape the feeling that something from those frozen wastes still watches from beyond the edge of human understanding. You stare at me now with disbelief, just as I once would have. I once believed there were limits to horror. I was wrong. God help you, if you ever learn the truth for yourself.